Welcome back to the podcast, guys. So Valentine's Day is just a few days away. And if you are single on Valentine's Day, I'm dedicating this episode to you because I know it can be tough to get through this holiday when you don't have a romantic love in your life. So I'm going to share tips on how to actually make Valentine's Day awesome if you're single, and also how to change your perspective on Valentine's Day so that even if you are feeling a little down in the dumps, which is natural, you are able to bounce back relatively quickly and not let it get to you. So if that sounds interesting, this is your episode. Keep listening. Hey there, it's your girl Nelly, matchmaker and dating coach. We talk about all things high value dating, how to meet your person, how to find love in today's dumpster fire dating economy, and also how to become a high value single because, as I always say, we don't attract what we want in life, we attract what we are. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you follow and subscribe to this podcast, and I can't wait to take you along this journey. Welcome to the High Value Dating Podcast. So Valentine's Day is somehow right around the corner. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I was just celebrating New Year's yesterday. This year is seriously flying by a little too quick, but thing about Valentine's Day is it's one of the, in my opinion, worst days of the year if you are single, because it really only exacerbates what singlehood is. It makes you feel lonely. It makes you feel unloved, especially if you are on social media during Valentine's Day, because a lot of what my feed usually looks like on Valentine's Day, and I know my friends and my clients, they've echoed the same, is people with these large bouquets of like 50 roses, Cartier love bracelets, right? These crazy public displays of affection, or they're, pouring their heart out in the captions, talking about, oh, wow, this is how I met the one, and I'm the luckiest girl or I'm the luckiest guy. And in a lot of ways, it's beautiful to see love, right? But a lot of the times, if you're single and you don't have someone in your life, might leave you feeling like you are not lovable, might leave you feeling like you are not worthy, or why don't you have that love story? Why is it taking so long for you to find love? Why can't you seem to get it right in relationships? And so that's why I say Valentine's Day is one of the hardest holidays, I think, in the year. It can be one of the best holidays if you do have someone in your life that you're romantically, involved with. But part of, I think, where Valentine's Day has blown up even more in the past decade is because people really take social media to another level on Valentine's Day and profess their love and, and brag about, oh, look at the gifts that I'm getting, look at the romantic getaway that I'm on. And so if you're not currently experiencing those things, it might, again, leave you feeling like you are lacking something in your life. And I talk a lot on this podcast about the importance of living in abundance, especially when we are trying to manifest the love story, manifest the money, manifest the house, whatever it is that your dream is, right? If you do not have a glass half full perspective and a positive attitude, and you choose to not see the best in situations, well, you're naturally going to feel pretty darn low. And so here's what I will say to anyone who is single on Valentine's Day this year, or if you're listening to this a year from now, whatever year you're listening to this, recognize that Valentine's Day is a commercial holiday, okay? It is designed to make you feel lonely, because then what do? You say, you know what? I'm actually going to go to Van Cleef. I'm going to go to Cartier and I'm going to buy myself that bracelet, right? It makes you want it more. It actually makes you want to spend more money on the things that you see other people doing. So it's all a part of the machine. So recognize that this holiday is actually designed to make you feel lonely if you're single, and it's designed to get people to spend money. It's also designed to make couples spend money, right? Because they feel a lot of the times pressure to want to impress their significant other, so the significant other can post that, that bouquet of roses or whatever it might be. And so once you take a step back and you actually understand the context of what Valentine's Day is, at least in our modern age, it puts things into perspective and hopefully will leave you feeling a lot less worse about yourself or your situation, because then you understand, oh, Valentine's Day, it's just a business day, literally. It's a lot of what all holidays are in some senses. Yes, there are some religious connections, of course, to holidays, but part of it is to, again, fuel the machine to help companies make more money, right? It's a marketing opportunity. When I used to work in marketing, which I did for many years at a Fortune 500 company, this was in my past life before I was a matchmaker and dating coach. We had calendars, marketing calendars with certain key windows, and we would create marketing materials and promotional materials to sell more product during those key windows because we knew that more people would be inclined to spend money on Valentine's themed products or Halloween themed products, right? And so I say this with a lot of confidence as someone who was actually behind the scenes for many years, marketing around these holidays, that they are absolutely designed to get people to spend money. And so while you might open Instagram or TikTok and see, boyfriend surprising a girlfriend with a getaway to Bora Bora and there are rose petals everywhere, and there's a, expensive handbag, like a Louis Vuitton box, something like that, or, the classic, you walk outside and there's a big bow on a car, understand that they are actually, and I don't fault them, like it's cute, but they're also just being targeted by these companies for that key season. So that's the first thing I would say is understand Valentine's Day, commercial holiday, and really try to look at it through that lens because it'll make it feel a lot, I think, more palatable from a single perspective. And I'm going to kind of flip this argument on its head because I do like to play devil's advocate, but I know plenty of couples who are actually not happy. And then Valentine's Day rolls around and they use it as an opportunity to try to overcompensate by showing the world that they're happy because they care more about what other people think of their relationship than how they actually feel in it. And so they will go and spend, loads of money on lavish gifts because they're trying to create this front that everything is good when in reality, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not so good. Maybe it's a bit of a house of cards. And you wouldn't know that looking on Instagram and seeing those photos because all you know is, wow, they look super in love. And how many influencers and couples who are public figures have we seen this with? Where everything looks super incredible on social media and then like a month later, they're broken up and there are cheating allegations or whatever it might be, which I think really just goes to show, and my whole point in this is not everything is as it seems. A lot of what social media is smoke and mirrors. A lot of what people show you on social media is what they are choosing to show you. And it doesn't mean that there aren't couples that are madly in love and gifting each other things on Valentine's Day. That absolutely exists. I'm going to circle back to that in a second. But my point is, do not fall for the trap of seeing couples posting on Valentine's Day, thinking they have it better than you. They very well might not. Your life might be a heck of a lot more peaceful and fulfilling as a single person than it is if you're in the wrong relationship. And again, I just know so many people who are in relationships, sadly, actually, who it is all about overcompensating. It's all about doing it for the gram and, wanting to potentially make things right. Maybe, for example, maybe someone's in a relationship and they cheat on their girlfriend. And so to make up for it, actually, I do know, I know a couple couples who this has happened. They're cheating on their girlfriend and the girlfriend finds out. And so to make up for it, they go through this kind of lavish Valentine's experience together. And there's, gifting and it's all about posting the gifts. I actually have a friend who was dating this guy who at the time was also my friend. And they were together for years. And we found out only after they'd broken up 5 years later that the whole time he was cheating on her. And they were exactly that couple that was always posting on social media, wow, thank you, baby, for, the Louis Vuitton belt or whatever it might have been. And at the time, I remember, being single, seeing that and thinking, wow, they have a really great relationship. They have it really great. I mean, who wouldn't want that? And then years later, you realize, oh, it wasn't actually as it seems. And speaking to her, it was like, oh, we actually weren't that happy. I bring that up because I have seen this with my own eyes. And I know so many of you on Valentine's Day are unknowingly going to open Instagram. You're going to see all the posts and you're going to feel pretty low if you're not getting those gifts too. And I'm telling you right now, not all that glitters is gold. So take it with a grain of salt and understand that, again, people are only going to show you what they want to show you. Very seldomly do you have the full picture of someone's relationship. Who knows? That guy could have gifted that girl a diamond bracelet and they could have gotten in a fight an hour before. In fact, she could be crying as she's posting that picture. You don't know. That's the point. You don't know. And I hope that's not the case for most people, but what I am confident in is telling you right now that not everything you see is real. And a lot of Valentine's Day it's people just advertising the best parts of their relationships. I'm sure you have been there before too, where maybe there's someone that you're not on great terms with and you posted a happy birthday post or something like that. And we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. And maybe that's not actually 100% how you feel about them. It's okay, but just recognize that that's a part of how humans are. And most people don't want to air their dirty laundry. Most people do want to show you the best parts of their life because it gives them a confidence boost. And so, again, just acknowledge that when it comes to Valentine's Day specifically, a lot of what you're going to see is not going to be real. And if you go in with that mindset, I personally think you're going to set yourself up for feeling better as opposed to going online and feeling, again, that lack, that emptiness, that almost envy even of, I wish I had what that girl or that guy had, because again, you do not know the full picture. Stay with me because after the break, I want to talk a little bit more about Valentine's Day, how to get through it if you're single, and also how to ensure that you have a great Valentine's Day, single or not. So stay with me and I will talk about that a little more with you right after the break. Thanks for staying with me through that break, guys. So before the break, I was discussing with you how Valentine's Day, a lot of the times, is not how it seems. A lot of the couples you see online are overcompensating or only showing you 1% of the entire story, small sliver of the pie, if you will. And again, go into Instagram on Valentine's Day with that perspective to ensure that you're not leaving, feeling even worse about yourself. But let's explore another possibility. Let's entertain the possibility that actually all these couples that you see online gifting each other these crazy lavish gifts and pouring their heart out and posting pictures and saying, I love what's happening when I wasn't looking, all those things. Let's assume and give them the benefit of the doubt that that's true. Maybe they are in a really loving relationship. Maybe everything is roses and rainbows. Maybe it is literally the optimal relationship. Personally, I don't believe there is such a thing, but let's just entertain that plausibility for a second. Okay. And how does that change your life? It doesn't. Just because another couple is in a committed, loving relationship doesn't take anything away from you. In fact, abundance and really being able to manifest love quicker says if it's possible for that couple to have an amazing relationship, if it's possible for that person who finally found their soulmate to now be in a loving, committed dynamic with the love of their life, then that means it's possible for you. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Isn't that such an awesome mindset to have? Because when you choose to see couples who have something that maybe you deep down yearn for, whether it is the big fancy bow on the Porsche outside on the driveway, or it's just knowing that you have someone next to you at night who cares for you, loves you, who you can talk about your day with, right? There are different extremes. There are different archetypes of relationships that exist. There's no one size fits all. There's not one that's, in my opinion, better than another. It's whatever is best for you. But if it's possible for those people to have a great love story, then that means It must exist for you too. You are not any better or worse than that other person who was able to find love. And I think this is the issue with Valentine's Day is if you don't have a love in your life, you can easily slip into feeling unlovable, right? Oh, something must be wrong with me. Obviously, I'm doing something wrong. Obviously, I'm not enough. I'm inadequate. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just not the right time. Maybe you just haven't met your person. That's probably actually more likely to be the case. And again, if it's possible for other people, despite their circumstances, to find love, why wouldn't it be possible for you? Why not live in the end state of believing that your great love story is coming your way? There's going to be a Valentine's Day where you have a Valentine. But you know what? It's not going to happen if you constantly feel sorry for yourself. And so the question that I always go back to is, can you afford not to live in abundance? Can you afford not to have a glass half full perspective, especially when it comes to love? I think if you really want it, you can't. You owe it to yourself to see the good in everything. So when you do open Instagram, and I keep going back to Instagram because I feel like we're always all on our phones. At least I certainly am, but part of it is, my line of work. But when you open Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or wherever on Valentine's Day and you see that couple, the first thought that comes to your mind, if it's a negative one, I want you to stop it in its tracks, take a breath, be conscious of the thought, acknowledge it, and then reframe and replace it with a good one, right? Oh, wow. Jennifer just got a Cartier bracelet. I don't know why I keep using that example. I just feel like that's literally the archetype. Maybe that's just my algorithm. That's what I see. Wow, Jennifer got a Cartier love bracelet. Good for her. She deserves it. And if it's possible for her to find a man who spoils her, that must mean it's possible for me. Or let's say you're a guy, you open social media and, wow, Jimmy has a hot girlfriend who worships the ground that he walks on. You know what? Good for him. He deserves it. And if it's possible for Jimmy to find a great woman, then why wouldn't I be able to? If anything, you should see these couples and it should hopefully inspire you. Even if it's not inspiring like you organically, I want you to choose to see inspiration in them. I want you to choose to see them and look at it as, wow, that's a great example. That means love exists. And again, you don't know the full picture. You don't know how long those people struggled for. You don't know how long they were single for. They could have been single for 2 decades. Actually, you know what? I've talked about this before. I have a client in my Queen of Hearts coaching program, which, shameless plug, I will be opening the doors to again. So click the link on my Instagram bio. But back to what I was saying, I have a woman who was in my coaching program, single for over 2 decades, and fear of commitment, fear of vulnerability. Working with her over a 6-week period, she actually ended up getting in a relationship with an incredible man. Yes, she had fears originally, and she did get that great love story. She did get princess treatment in her 50s, okay? So if you saw her on social media posting a picture, I'm not saying she would do this. She doesn't strike me as the type, but let's say she did post a picture of the diamond earrings or wherever, oh, thank you, honey, for taking me on a romantic getaway to Paris, which she has done. You might think, oh my God, that is so obnoxious and this and that. But the underbelly of it and the bottom of the iceberg is, well, this woman was single for most of her life and she's finally just getting in the relationship of her dreams. And again, we don't even know what goes on in that relationship. When you take on that perspective, feels a little different, doesn't it? And so I implore you to really think about your perspective when it comes to anything you see in general, Valentine's Day or not, because so much of what we believe is actually what we choose to believe, even unknowingly, right? You have a choice. You can choose to see the good or you can choose to see the bad. But the choice really does fall on you. I personally think that it's better to choose to see the good. But here's another example. Like I have, people very close to me who literally get, I'm going to be honest, $100,000 in jewelry plus a year. And they're in loving relationships, but it's not all a walk in the park. Sometimes it comes with a lot of times it comes with sacrificing something. And I think we have been sold as a society this idea that everything is just so freely given, when in reality, most of what you see is almost always earned in some way, in some way. And you might go online and you might see a girl getting, a $50,000 tennis bracelet or a brand new Mercedes with a bow on top and all the things. You don't know what actually maybe she had to do to get those things. You don't know what she has to maybe put up with to get those things. And maybe it's just a walk in the park for her. We can entertain that possibility too. And if it is, good. The attitude should be, I wish them even more. I wish that person 10 times better. And guess what? If it's possible for them, once again, that means it's possible for you. But your perspective is going to shape how you feel on Valentine's Day. And one more thing before we cut to break here is a girlfriend of mine told me this one year when, funny enough, I was not expecting to tell the story, but I actually one time got dumped on Valentine's Day, found out a guy was cheating on me, and then went out with my girlfriend and my sister and ran into a guy that I had previously dated at Valentine's dinner with his new girlfriend. So that was a fun experience that I don't hope any of you guys relive. It was a pretty triggering day, to say the least. Don't worry, I'm still open-minded about Valentine's Day. It didn't taint my Valentine's days forever. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah. One of the things that she told me, one of my best friends, is, Nellie, just don't even go on social media on Valentine's Day. Literally just make an effort to not be on Instagram or TikTok. And so, hey, if that helps you because you don't have control over like how you're going to respond to seeing certain things that you feel might trigger you, then just avoid it altogether. Don't go on social media on Valentine's Day if it's going to leave you feeling worse than it is better. You have to take charge of your energy and emotions. And sometimes that means withdrawing from certain things. And that actually could be healthy. Like, I think there's probably good things to come with not being on social media and like doom scrolling on TikTok. Anyways, I want to go to break. And after the break, we're going to talk about how to actually still have a great Valentine's Day, even if you're single, and show yourself love on Valentine's Day, because you don't need to be in a relationship to embrace the holiday of love. So stay with me and we'll talk about all that and more after the break. Thanks for staying with me through that break, guys. So as I was mentioning right before we cut to break, you don't have to be in a relationship to embrace Valentine's Day and to really reap all of the rewards of love. I mean, you can do this every day, but Valentine's Day in particular, if anything, should be a reminder to love yourself a little extra, I think. And part of how you can show yourself love is maybe indulging in things that you would prefer to indulge in with someone else. But guess what? You don't need a guy or a girl to go get a massage with. You don't need someone to buy you the fancy gifts that maybe you want. You can actually choose to take Valentine's Day as an opportunity to do the things that maybe you wish someone else did. And I personally think that if you show up for yourself the way you would want a partner to show up for you, you'll actually attract it even more, because then you're going to elevate your frequency and you're going to become more in alignment with someone who's lifestyle compatible. Maybe on Valentine's Day, self-love looks like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym today and I'm going to work out because I want to continue showing up for myself so that when the right person shows up in my life, I'm ready to rock. Or maybe it's like, I am going to take myself to a nice dinner. Now, this one can be a little tricky because you are going to see a lot of couples if you go to like a fancy steakhouse by yourself. But my point is, like, let yourself enjoy the little indulgences of Valentine's Day that maybe you wish you were able to enjoy with a partner. Don't feel like you need someone to celebrate. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you're in a relationship or not, the most important relationship you will ever have, and the one that you should be nurturing and nourishing on a daily basis, is truly the one you have with yourself. And even when you're in a relationship, you're still your own individual person. It's not like you are going to be conjoined at the hip with someone unless you're in like a very codependent dynamic. But for the most part, you should want to be your own individual person still. and someone else just comes into your life and you complement each other. It's like 1 + 1 = 3. And so, with respect to Valentine's Day or any day, show yourself love. Be loving and kind and sweet to yourself. Your inner dialogue really, really matters. And when you do have moments, because we all have them, of feeling unlovable or feeling less than or whatever, acknowledge them, but then reframe them and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Well, maybe the reason you're single is because you're too smart to settle down with the wrong person. Maybe that's why you're single. You probably, most of you, I bet, could have a relationship if you wanted to. But you're probably single because you have made a deliberate choice to not settle for someone who you don't feel is truly going to enhance your life the way you want. And that should be empowering. So it's not a matter of you not being able to attract a relationship. It's you being discerning about wanting the right one, wanting the love story that truly fits into your life like a puzzle piece. And again, that takes time. We are not fortune tellers, right? We don't know when that will happen, but believe that it will. And in the meantime, get to work on loving yourself. Don't feel like you need to wait for someone to love you for you to accept you, because you don't. And here's another thing. I'm willing to bet that you have so much love in your life that maybe you just don't even really acknowledge because it's not a romantic type of love. Whether that is love from your pet, love from your family, love from your friends, love from your coworkers, you are loved. And so take a moment to actually just express gratitude for the love that you do have, because there's someone out there that wishes they had family, a dog, friends that love you that love them the way you love you, or they love you, excuse me, getting tongue twisted here. So really just acknowledge that while you might not have a intimate relationship worth celebrating on Valentine's Day, you have many relationships that I'm sure you can express gratitude for, even if it's just one. Here's another thing. If you want to celebrate Valentine's Day, you can get people together who you love and, have a Valentine's Day together. Galentine's Day is fun. I've done that before, like getting together with friends and, making cupcakes and just doing fun theme-based activities. Because who doesn't love pink and who doesn't love hearts and who doesn't love pink heart-shaped sprinkle cookies? I do. So take control of your Valentine's Day. It's kind of like what I was talking about with the Christmas and New Year's episode. Take control of your itinerary. Also, this is maybe just my perspective on things, but I personally think the best day is the day after Valentine's Day because everything goes on sale, right? So all the people who are indulging on Valentine's Day are paying full price. If you wait till the 15th, you're going to probably pay 75% off for a lot of the candy and the heart-shaped things. So you can also do a post-Valentine's Day Valentine's Day. Here's another thing though. Take it upon yourself to show other people love on Valentine's Day. I think so much of what we've been conditioned to do as a society is receive love, right? But show love. Text your girlfriends, text your mom, give a little Valentine's Day care package to your neighbor and say, grateful for you, appreciate you, happy Valentine's. It doesn't have to be this grand romantic thing. You can show other people love in the way that you want someone else to show you love. And then you're, again, stepping into that energy, stepping into that frequency where you're going to position yourself to attract it and even more. It seems so far-fetched, I think, from actually attracting a dream partner, but it's not. It's not, because what I always say is, and I did not invent this quote, but luck is truly where opportunity meets preparation. And so if you're prepared, as in you're showing yourself love because you recognize that you're worthy of it, and you are doing things that make you feel good, which naturally elevates your energy and your frequency, makes you feel more confident, makes other people also want to be around you, and you're putting yourself in the right environments and you're treating other people in a loving way, then eventually the opportunity is going to come across your path where someone you wants you too, because you energetically magnetize them in. And that's boom, when you found your lucky love story. That's how it works. That's how it works. Try it out. And on that note, happy Valentine's Day. And I'm sending you all love. And I want you to send yourself a little love today. and every day. And yeah, just make sure that today, especially, you take on a bit more of a dynamic perspective. Not everything is as it seems. And even if it is as it seems or better, if it's possible for other people, that means it's possible for you too. And even if you don't have a romantic love in your life, you have a lot of love in your life. You have a lot of love within yourself. And sometimes focusing on what we do have, actually always focusing on what we do have as opposed to what we don't have, will position us to manifest love even quicker. So on that note, thank you for listening to today's episode. I had a lot of fun recording it. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, please make sure to give it a rating and review if you liked it, and subscribe for future episodes. And if you are listening on YouTube, also please subscribe and leave a comment. I love to see your comments. And one other thing that I always like to throw in is if you ever have a question, a dating topic, or you need advice on something dating related, you can always send me a 60-second or less voice memo over DM on Instagram. And you never know, I might actually respond to it in a future episode. So take advantage of that and enjoy Valentine's Day, guys. Bye.
Pioneer.